Kiddy Coaster Rye Playland is the most elusive wooden roller coaster credit in the United States. Most wood coasters are larger rides designed with adults in mind. Kiddy Coaster is considered one of the first coasters designed exclusively for kids, and as a result, adults usually cannot ride it. This makes it a white whale among most coaster enthusiasts. But there are occasionally opportunities for adults to ride. In this video, I will discuss what makes this ride so special and give some opportunities you may have to ride it. Rye Playland opened back in 1928. They opened with two roller coasters, the larger airplane coaster for adults and the Kiddy Coaster for kids. The latter was designed by Frank Darling and built by Rudyard Stephen Utzel. The ride cost $2,500. That figure looks staggeringly low. Even if you adjust for inflation, this coaster would have cost less than $50,000 today. Just for reference, an SBF Visa spinning coaster costs roughly 10 times that figure. Kiddy Coaster serves as the anchor of the Kiddyland section of the park. This coaster wraps around multiple attractions, so it gives so much kinetic energy in the area whenever it cycles. That is particularly true when combined with the happy screams of kids. This ride also has a unique aesthetic. The white supports are common for a lot of older wood coasters, but the blue track is really peculiar. Then the trains, which were built by National Amusement Devices, have a metallic look to them. This directly contrasts with the wood structure, causing them to stand out all the more. Riders must be at least 36 inches tall, but under 55 inches to ride. Unlike some kiddie coasters that physically cannot accommodate adults, the decision here to exclude adults here is an operational decision by Playland. There are two reasons for this. One, they want to prevent adults from taking up seats due to this ride's limited capacity. Two, the park wants this to be a special experience for kids. They don't want them to see adults on their coaster. The easiest way to get this credit is to be a kid, but it is possible to ride this as an adult. The opportunities are just very rare. The most common way for adults to experience this coaster is during exclusive ride time or ERT during a coaster club event. This will usually be in the morning, way before the park opens. That way, kids will not see adults riding their coaster. The American Coaster Enthusiasts Race hold an event at this park every few years, and ERT and Kiddy Coaster is one of the biggest selling points. At the most recent ACE event, I heard this coaster garnered hour-plus waits. That shows just how many enthusiasts want this rare and historic credit. It also shows how low this ride's throughput truly is. Even during normal operating hours, this ride can have a decent wait. Eyeballing it, the queue seems to hover around the 10 to 15 minute mark most days. That's not long in the grand scheme of things, but that is longer than most kiddie coasters. The coaster has two trains, but they only run one at a time due to the short ride duration. Station to station, this ride is just over 30 seconds. Each train is just 3 rows. Each row can accommodate 2 kids. Or if you're an adult riding this during a special event, each row can accommodate just 1 adult. And just know if you're an adult, you likely will have to cross your legs so the lap bar can come down far enough to lock. But it is worth it for the credit. Seating is on a first-come basis, as with the other coasters at this park. The front is the most popular row for the unobstructed view, but the forces are similar wherever you sit. Once seated, riders will find a shared seatbelt and a shared lap bar for each row. This is simple, but comfortable, and it is easy for the operators to check. Once secure, an employee pulls a large lever to dispatch the train. I love seeing manually operated rides. It is way more satisfying than just pressing a button. You roll forwards and ascend the 16-foot tall chain lift. The railing for the evacuation platform does block your view to the left, but you get a decent view to the right looking over Kiddyland. Once at the top, you have a shallow dip, and I'll bury the hatchet. There is no airtime whatsoever on this coaster. This is meant to be a kid's first coaster, so it intentionally offers a gentler experience. You then rise upwards and have a leftward curve down to ground level. This is completely unbanked, so it offers some weak laterals. You are now on the back side of Kiddyland. You have back-to-back bunny hills. The first is elongated, but the second is rather compact, so this one comes darn close to giving airtime. And maybe you could if you have a full train of adults, but you'll just get a light tummy tickle if you ride solo. Then you gently rise upwards and turn left into the unload platform. Yes, this rides separate load and unload platforms. Here, an employee manually pulls a giant lever. This applies the brakes, bringing you to a stop. You then disembark. Meanwhile, the train rolls back to the load platform, allowing the train to complete the 485-foot or 148-meter long circuit. This kiddie coaster has some key differences over traditional kiddie coasters. 1. The ride is made entirely of wood. 99% of kiddie coasters are made of steel, especially since most were produced decades later. 2. The ride is smooth and fluid. The park takes impeccable care of this ride. The train glides along the track, so it is super comfortable for guests of all ages. I think this is something more kiddie coasters should consider. A lot of kiddie coasters have abrupt and/or jarring maneuvers. 3. Kiddie coaster offers a longer layout. It probably has about twice the track of most kiddie coasters. But there is a trade-off. Most rides of this scale offer multiple laps to compensate for the short track length, but Rye limits the train to just one lap for capacity purposes. 4. The layout is way more interesting because it circles around Kiddyland. So many kiddie coasters are self-contained due to their small size, but this oval layout has some fun visuals as you whiz past other rides. You can feed off the energy both as a rider and spectator. What would I rate Kiddy Coaster? Well, I don't think that's fair to ask. I am not the target audience, especially since I can't even ride this ride most days. But this ride has been delighting kids for over a century. It is common for kids to get off and immediately run back around. Based on that, I think it is fair to give this coaster a perfect 10 out of 10. It is one of the best pure kiddie coasters out there. Is it annoying I cannot ride this as an adult? Yes, because this is a genuinely fun ride. But when I did get the opportunity to ride this, I immediately realized this would have been a favorite of mine as a kid. It offers a much better experience than other kiddie coasters, including the one just across the Midway. Kiddy Coaster was a significant coaster for me. This was the final operating wood coaster I needed in North America. I intentionally saved this one for the end because it is quite challenging for an adult to experience. I figured this would be a fun way to celebrate. I just barely missed riding this coaster as a kid. My first visit occurred just after I eclipsed the 55-inch max height restriction, so it was neat to finally get this credit over 2 decades later. Operating is a key distinction though, as there is one other wood coaster I am missing in the US. It has Cyclone at Lakeside in Denver, Colorado, which has been standing but not operating for years. Hopefully, that ride can return to operation in the near future. On that note, Rye reopened Dragon Coaster for the 2026 season after it was closed last year, and they did quite a bit of work to the ride, including building a new dragon tunnel and plenty of track work. That is another ride they'd care for perfectly. Now, if you think Kiddy Coaster is a hard wood coaster credit to acquire, Autobergbahn at Wiener Prater seems a lot trickier to experience. This one also bans adults and does not have special events. Although, I have heard some people have successfully ridden it, if you catch my drift, but it is operator dependent. Those are my thoughts on Kiddy Coaster at Rye Playland. What are your thoughts on this coaster? Have you had the opportunity to ride this historic ride? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there will be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Kiddy Coaster. Thanks for watching.